Hello and welcome to Ultra Instinct Tarot. For this week's pick a card reading, we have a special one of a kind pick a plush reading. Woo, yeah, woo. We have 4 different plushes to choose from. For plush number 1, we have the great Louise Belcher from Bob's Burgers.
Drink some cranberry juice.
For plush number 2, we have the fastest man alive, the Flash.
Want to see me run to that mountain and back? You want to see me do it again?
For plush number 3, we have the great copycat ninja of the Leaf Village, Kakashi Hatake.
Leaf Village Secret Finger Jutsu! 1,000 years of death!
And for plush number 4, we have the GOAT, the classic, the all-time greatest cartoon character that has ever existed, Bugs Bunny!
What's up, Doc?
Now, don't take your time choosing. Just choose one, trust your instincts, and I will see you in your reading. Hello. So, I'm still trying to figure things out, getting better lighting and how to make it sound better. And so I'm making experiments with the microphone, and this week's experiment clearly failed. So I apologize for that. There's going to be popping noises throughout the whole reading for some reason. So I'm going to do something different with my microphone next time. And that way there's no popping noises. So I apologize for that. And I thank you for letting me experiment and try to make things better. So, have a good time in your reading. Hello! If you chose Louise Belcher, welcome to your reading. Take a seat, relax, and let's just have fun for however long this reading goes to. I want to point out that while I was getting my camera set up and everything, getting my zoom in and making sure everything fits, I always lay out some cards, just to make sure they're all fitting and everything. And so the cool thing is I had this one out for when I was setting everything up. And I noticed it, but I was like, I'm going to shuffle anyways now for whoever picked pile 1, for whoever picked Louise, which is one of my favorite characters in Bob's Burgers. But the cool thing is that this card popped out again. I love it when cards do that. I love it when that happens. And it happens more often than you think. More often than you think. The perfect things falls down so that new perfect things can begin. And if you feel any of that, if you have seen it, I recommend paying attention because it's pretty cool when it does happen. Life does talk back to you. It's kind of cool when it happens. See, this card is 33. 3s are special numbers, for lots of reasons. Scientifically, mathematically, and spiritually, like this. 3s are very special. Everything happens in 3s. This is the tree of life. This is the beginning. It's literally 1, 2, 3. That's the beginning of the pattern, and then it happens 3 times. And then an apple, there's the fruit that the tree grew. That's the phoenix rising from the ashes. This is my tower card. This is my so I have a short of a little clip from my Uncle Iroh that explains the tower card perfectly. There's this man who is going to mug him, but he's not the person that mugs people, and it's very obvious, especially to someone like Uncle Iroh, who is very skilled in combat. But yeah, he has a knife, and he's like shaking. He's like, "Hey, give me your money." And Uncle Iroh, instead of beating this guy up, he goes, "Hey, that's not a way to mug someone." He's like, "You have a poor stance," and then he pushes him just proves that he has a very poor stance, but he lifts him back up, right? He lifts him back up. Anytime you fall down, you're always going to be lifted back up. But he lifts him back up, and relax. I feel like I was rushing, sorry. But he lifted him back up, and he shows him a good, strong, proper stance where he won't be pushed down so easily. And but then he's like, yeah, you don't look like the mugging type, and then the dude starts telling him, well, it's because he wants to have a tea shop, that's what he really wants to do, but he didn't believe in himself, and he really needed money, so he thought the only option was to mug people, and Uncle Iroh showed him that there was another option available as well. That didn't include hurting other people. See, so this is just about an old, as an old perspective, an old belief that doesn't work anymore because there's always a better one. Life keeps going on, life keeps moving on, and so should you. The life changes, and so should us. So should we. We shouldn't be stagnant. We shouldn't be like robots who are just programmed and do the same thing over and over and over again until we die. That's no fun. We are meant to be creative. We are meant to have fun. We are meant to explore. We are infinite, right? So imagine all of the infinite things that we are able to do and explore and have fun with. And yeah, this is life moves on. If there is something that's being torn down, let it be torn down because it's necessary. It needs to happen. It's being torn down so that something even cooler can be in its place. Cool. Wow, look at that mirror. Wow, 3-3. There, it's also mirrored. Cool. The Hermit. This is the light within, right? So we all have our own perspective that is important and should be shared with everyone. And just because you have a different one than somebody else doesn't mean that you guys are wrong. Either of you are wrong. It just means you're looking at the tree from different angles. If I look at Goku from this way and draw him, he's going to look different from if I draw him from up here or if I look at him from up here. So there's just different angles, different perspectives. And yours is equally as important as anybody else's. Justice is all about an adjustment. Justice isn't about, oh, we need revenge, or someone does something bad, oh, we need something bad to happen to them too. No, that's not justice. Justice is just an adjustment. Say you have scales, right, and there's beans on both sides of the scales. Well, you can make an adjustment and move one beans from one side to the other, and the scale is going to tip over and it's going to move. But that was an adjustment that was made. We can add more beans to the right side, and we can add more beans to the left, but the beans have to come from somewhere and they will be placed somewhere as well. So this is like the science tells us, that energy can't be created out of nothing, it needs to come from somewhere. And that is what justice is, an adjustment, right? It's a mathematician. It's, well, if you move one money from your savings account to your checkings, right? That was an adjustment that was made. There's, when we personify it, as humans, we see it as justice. But if you see it from a different perspective, then we can see it as an adjustment. We can see it as just things moving from here to there, right? This tower happened, they moved somewhere else, and now we can move something else in its place. This always reminds me of math. I like math. I don't know if you like math, but math was my favorite subject in school, and I really very much enjoyed it until it got to a certain point. Until we started messing with calculus and 3D. Then I was like, okay, I don't like this anymore. I'm not having fun anymore. But this is like when you solve an equation, right? Like 4x plus 3 equals 5, right? Well, what you do to one side, you got to do to the other, right? What did I say? 4x plus 3. So you subtract 3 from one side, well, you're going to subtract 3 from the other. That's the adjustment that's being made, and we're going to make it to both sides. Can't create nothing, something from nothing, right? That kind of idea. Ooh, I like the yellow that's in the background, so that seems pretty cool. Courage. And the dream. Six of Cups is the dream that you had when you were a kid. Right, that is when we were at our most godly, when we were kids. And yeah, by the time we die, we go back to godliness, right? But imagine your soul has a dream, and that's why it decided to become human, because it had a dream that it wanted to live out as a low human. But it forgets it as human, because how fun is it to remember how fun is it to explore it and see it for the first time, like with full of wonder, right? And that's why when you're a kid, imagine that kid knows more about what its soul wanted to do when it was a human, and that's what's going to bring him the most joy, create the most love for that little kid. But then the more you grow, the older you get, the adult you become. And you forget about that dream, because now you want to work, because that's what people tell you life is for. It's just to work like a slave for other people. But that kid still has that dream inside, even though it got pushed down, even though it got set aside. The dream is still there, and that dream is still going to create a lot of joy and love for that little kid. And it takes courage to chase after that dream. It takes courage to ignore what everybody says that we should do, and to follow and chase that dream. It takes a lot of courage. It takes courage for that dandelion to grow out of that concrete. Because what is there? There's no anything nourishing in that concrete. There's no soil. There's no, there's no roots. It can take a lot of dirt. How nice would it be to have a lot of dirt, right? But no, even if there is no dirt around it, it's going to still grow, and it's going to still flower. And it takes a lot of courage to do that. So imagine we are in the concrete of times, and we got to figure out how to grow, how to still flower even during these hard times. And that requires to go against the current sometimes, something that good people don't usually do. They usually just follow the rules. But what if the rules that you follow don't feel good? It gives you anxiety and depression instead. Well, then that's when it's okay to break some rules sometimes, and do and chase that joy, chase that love, chase that dream that you had when you were a child. Because that is the adjustment that the hermit wants, that you want, that little kid. Look at that, little kid is a grown adult now. And it's sad that it's not being listened to. It's lonely. So let's be a little less lonely and chase after that dream. Let's help that little kid out. Ace of Cups, this is literally all of the emotions. This is potential. This is the kid, the kid has as much potential as anyone, the most potential of anyone. And this is the emotions. This is the cups. The cups are like where you are at your most godly again, if we're talking in the terms that we've been using. The most potential. All of the emotions are there now. We aren't lonely anymore. Seven of Swords, futility. What does that word mean? Is this when it seems like everybody's going against you? Interesting. You going against the current, right? It's okay to break the rules sometimes, especially if it's for love and joy. Then, breaking the rules isn't bad. What's good, what's bad? The only thing there is what's popular and what's the common, what makes you not look weird and odd. So that's be like everyone else so you can blend in. Well, this sword doesn't want to do that anymore. It wants to shine its light. It wants to flower. In these hard times, it wants to chase after the dream that they had from back when they were a kid. Because that's where all of the emotions are. All of the especially good emotions, because we're forgetting about those. Both emotions are equally as important. And let's listen to those bad emotions, because they just want to protect you. They're not bad. They are just trying to let you know what path you don't want to go through. Right? When there's a fire and I put my hand on the fire and I get burned, is it my skin's fault that it got burned? Should I be mad at it that it got hurt? No, I should thank it that it got hurt. That way I know I shouldn't put my hand in fire, because I'm going to start destroying myself. I'll be hurting myself. So good thing I have pain in my hands that I can feel, so I know to back my hand away and go somewhere else where I won't be burned. And that is why we have bad emotions, so you know what paths not to take, what you don't want to do, what hurts you. So yeah, the main focus is chase it after your dream that you had when you were a kid, just like Louise Belcher is, right? She just dreams something and she goes for it. Nothing and no one can stop her. She is a great person to follow, a great character to start embodying a little more. You know, let out your inner Louise Belcher. This is the time. You know, she has all of the courage, and she is herself. Cool. Very much enjoy. Very much nice. Alright, let's get some last bit of advice from the Office Oracle book. Yeah, grab this one. No. Grab that one. Number 21. Okay, this goes with the Tower card. So this thing that we were destroying, right? We are reconstructing again. And it feels like you're being reborn. This is, the grass is always greener on the other side. So in this scene, so normally Michael is the manager, right? And Jim is the salesman. Oh. My light rolled. Rickroll. My light just rickrolled me in light terms. I think, oh, that looks good. Okay, cool. So, we said Jim was a salesman, Michael was manager. In this scene, they are flipped because they became a new company and you get a lot of more money being a salesman than being a manager. So, Michael decided he wanted to be a salesman and Jim ended up becoming manager. But now that Michael is in the sales chair and is doing sales, he is sad because he misses being manager, because being manager is what he's always wanted since he was a kid. And yeah, this is, the grass is always greener. He says, you know what's so funny? I used to stand in here and wish I was out there. Now I'm out there and I wish I was in here. And Jim says, well, the grass is always greener. And Michael replies, except there's no grass out there. But that situation made Michael realize that he had it good. He loved being the manager, and that's exactly what he wants. That's what brings him joy and love, right? Not being a salesman, but being manager. So it's a good thing he left because it made him realize that. So now it's a good thing he's, they end up switching back, and Michael ends up being happy being manager again. And Jim as well, he's happy being salesman because that's what he likes. That's what he's good at. That's what he wants to do. And now we have different Michael, right? Then from the one from the one that never switched. Because now after the switch, now he knows to appreciate more. That he already has what he's always wanted to do. And yeah, it's all about that love. It's all about living that dream. And Michael realized, hey, I'm living that dream. Hell yeah. 31, cool. I'll just read this one from my little guidebook that I wrote myself. This is my chaos card. This is pi, 3.14, right? This is Nelly. This is a quote from Nelly. As soon as, so now she's manager here. And she says, I walked in right into a job for which I was ill-prepared, ill-suited, and somebody else already had. And I got it. Anything can happen to anyone. It's just random. See, this dream can literally appear out of nowhere. Everything is random. Alright, so now I'm gonna read this a little bit. Okay, so take pi for example, right? 3.141529653559. If I show you that string of digits, all those numbers, you could immediately recognize it as pi, at least the beginning of it, right? But if you did not know what pi was, you would say that those are just a string of random numbers, that they don't mean anything because it goes all over the place. It's random. And you wouldn't think there is an order to it. So now if I asked you the same thing, but instead I start at the 100th digit of pi, would you recognize it as pi? Because I sure wouldn't. But it's still pi, right? There's still an order to it, even though it seems so random. And that's what chaos is. It may seem random, but there is an order to it. Pie, no matter how random it seems, will always be pie. Life is pie. Life is very random, but there is an organization to it. And with that, I thank you for being here and having fun with me. I hope this reading helps. If it did, please help me as well by liking this video, by writing a comment on anything that was said here, or anything you would like to share. And subscribing if you would like to keep hanging out and you haven't subscribed yet. So thank you so much for being here, and I really hope to see you in the next one. Peace. Hello, if you picked the Flash, welcome to your reading. Take a seat, relax, chill, and enjoy. Okay, we have number 13. Cool, stress. This is my stress card. Which is funny because I was just thinking about Flash being fast, right? And Flash is honestly one of my favorite superheroes. I love the show that was on Netflix, right? But the Barry Allen Flash. I absolutely enjoyed watching that show, and it made me really like the Flash as a superhero. I think he does a very good job at being the Flash. But I was just thinking about how I might like that superhero so much because of anxiety, because of my thoughts racing so fast. Right? And the stress card is the what first pops up, which I think is pretty funny. So if you pick the Flash, this might be my anxious people, my anxious homies. And being anxious isn't a bad thing. See it as a superpower. Like, actually, right? I mean, you're thinking of the worst things that could happen. Then that makes you more ready than other people because that haven't thought of those things that could happen. So don't just focus on those, but listen to those and just be ready for them. Just be like, okay, that's one option. What else can we be ready for, right? And think of all of the bad things, all of the good things as well. We are just anxious because we are computing very fast. So this is a superpower that we have, right? And I've started thinking like the Hulk as well. Just like the Hulk, he had problems controlling the Hulk because when he got angry, then the Hulk came out and he wouldn't be able to control the Hulk. And at one point, he was able to control him. And I love that scene where he turns around and he's like, "That's my secret." He's like, "I am always angry." So that's me. That's my secret. I'm always anxious. So yes, you use the surge and fear and adrenaline to sharpen your decision making. We can make the best decisions. I know we have trouble the most at making decisions, but those decisions that we make are top tier, grade A decisions because we've thought of a million scenarios. So it is a superpower. Screw those doctors saying that it's an illness. That being anxious is not a mental illness. It's an evolution, and we can use it to help us. But we just, it's this new superpower that we don't know how to use yet. And so they want to set it down. They want to put it down. They want to set it aside. So they want to keep it controlled. But I say use it. I say use it. Use it to your advantage. Use it for your decision making. It's a gift. Yes, it's a gift from life. This anxiety, these emotions that we receive, that we have, all these thoughts that we keep thinking of. It's a gift. Look at that. This is how we can be. This is what it can turn us into. This is us at our evolved form of the Queen of Wands. See the yellow? The yellow is the gift, and now we're wearing the yellow. Now we're embodying the yellow. We are embodying these emotions. The emotions tell us a lot of information, and that's why we are here, to learn how to use these emotions and not let them use us, because it's like using a knife. Obviously make it be part of you, when you grab it, pick it up, but is the knife making the decisions? No, we are guiding the knife where we want to cut. So let's start doing the same thing with our thoughts and our emotions. Let's guide them into helping us with whatever is needed. So instead of putting them inside, throwing that knife away and wanting to still be able to cut our food, even though you threw the knife out to the side, So it's the same with our emotions. It's the same with our thoughts. It's the same with our anxiety. Let's start guiding it, because it's there to help us. It's there to protect us. That's why we have negative emotions. I used this example in the last reading for the Louise Belcher gang. I used of if there's a fire and I put my hand on the fire, my hand is gonna get burnt, right? But it's gonna hurt. Should I be mad at my skin and my hand for hurting? Well, no, because that pain is telling you information. That pain is saying, hey, fire bad, fire no touch. Because we hurt with fire. So we know to stay away from fire. We know to not put our hands in fire. We know not to interact with fire unless it's controlled, unless, protected, you're protected. And same with life, same with our emotions, right? Our bad emotions. Like if you're angry, or you're angry for a reason, it's the same as your sand getting burnt and saying, hey, no, not there, we don't want to be there. let's be somewhere else. So it's the same with our emotions. Some of those bad emotions, they're there to protect you, to show you where you don't want to be. And that is a gift from life. That is a gift for us humans, right? That's why we're here. This is what the school is for. Sorrow, yes, the Empress, nice. Look at that, 3-3. Okay, if the Louise Belcher, if you felt like watching that at all, I 110% recommend it, because their card here was 3-3. So I enjoy that this came out as 3-3 as well. And look at that, the difference, right, of bad, sorrow, things that make you sad, things that don't make you feel good. Look at this card. This card probably makes you feel good. It makes me feel good. There's cool blues and greens. There's a cool bird on it. There's a cool flower. And this person is turning back to this emotion. How cool is that? Right? Which place would you want to live in? Which house do you want to live in? Well, I would want to be over here. I'm attracted to this card over here. Right? I would rather not be over here. These things look pointy. It looks like I'm going to injure myself on this side over here. See, that's a gift from life. Being able to distinguish the two, compare the two, and take a path, take one or the other. Which one do you want to go through? Which one do you want to experience? And we get to decide that, right? So we can appreciate anxiety, we can appreciate good things that happen, we can appreciate both, because they're both necessary. Without anxiety and sorrow, we wouldn't know what all this love and happiness is. I like how they're both wearing or holding a flower. There's a flower here as well. Money is good. Money is flower. Experiencing. I have another 3. Ooh. Playfulness. Nice. Yeah, how would you want to live life? Playfully or, very seriously? Would you want to experience it and enjoy the things around you? Or do you want to, just be on your own? Just sad. But another 3, this is cool. This is very cool, whatever's going on here. And playfulness, that's what you want. Yes, Empress is staring right at the playfulness. And has his back away. I'm not gonna be around people who make me feel this sorrow. I don't choose that. I'm gonna surround myself with people that help me experience life, that help me be more playful with life. No more stress, no more fear. I feel like I don't feel like saying anything else, anything much else. So I'm gonna just randomly grab 2 cards from the Office Oracle deck. Wow, this is really short. Flash, man. We get things done fast. But I think that helps. I think that's look at that, another 3. What is going on here? Oh, okay. How cool is that? This card is my now or never card. There are moments where we can affect change. For a few seconds every decade, we exist. These are those seconds. Tick. Storm the castle. Talk. Come on, tick. It's now or never. Talk. What say you? It's now or never. Flash. Get it done now. Choose now. Experience now. Be playful now. Sharpen your decision making. It's now or never. And yeah, this is just be playful. Just be you. Just focus on experience and just focus on that love and joy. Just focus on listening to those feelings, and life will play along. Life will do wonders for you. This is my divine intervention card. My divine influence. Do not give up. Keep going. You are being helped. Michael and Dwight, they literally stood in front of David Wallace's house, and the branch was still saved. They literally did nothing. They were just waiting for him to get there so they can speak their mind, but he never showed up, and the branch was still saved. Other things happened that was outside of their control, and it helped them so that their branch didn't close down. So that's what's going on here. Just but they did it. They were gonna defend themselves, right? They were gonna speak their mind. They were gonna speak their truth. They were gonna try to save the branch. They were chasing it, and they were doing it. And even though what they did didn't matter at all, they were playful. They did it. They experienced. That's all life wants out of you, and it'll help because we can't do it on our own. What say you? It's now or never. You want to say anything, Luna? You want to say anything? You want to speak? Luna, speak. 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 No, she doesn't want to speak. Thank you so much for being here. And I hope this reading helped. It was short and sweet, but I feel like there were some good words in there. And yeah, make things more simple. Life shouldn't be so serious, right? Be more playful. And yeah, I hope this helped. If it did help, please help me as well by liking this video, by commenting on this great reading of yours, on this great energy of yours, on all of these threes. Why are they popping up so much? And subscribe if you want to keep hanging out with me, keep having fun, keep learning this game of life with me. So thank you so much, and I hope to see you in the next one. Peace. Hello! If you picked Kakashi, welcome to your reading. Take a seat, relax, and enjoy. There's nothing you need to do here except for just chill and relax and listen and have the best time you can. I got my dog sitting right next to me. Everything is very chill and enjoyable on my side. So I hope yours is as well. Now, to start things off, we have number 5. We have Pam. We have Pammy. This is my inner confidence card. Pam isn't very confident in herself. She would put herself aside to do things that others ask for of her, or if somebody else made a mistake, she's not going to correct it because she knows how it feels. She knows that people can be hurt. She understands that other people can be hurt, and she puts herself aside so that she can tend to the ones around her. That's how usually Pammy is. But in this scene, she is discovering her inner confidence. She is saying, look out world, because old Pammy is getting what she wants, and don't call me Pammy, because she doesn't like that, and she's going to tell you things that she doesn't like, and she's going to set her boundaries. This is that inner confidence that sets boundaries, right? That's the inner devil of yours. We all have both, right? It's on every cartoon where they have an angel on one side and the devil on the other. They both are equally as necessary. And the devil is the one that is going to set boundaries. The devil is going to be the one to tell you, no, don't call me Pammy because I don't like that. And I am going to protect myself. So channel your inner Pammy. Be more honest about what it is you want, about how it is you feel, and be confident in that. Right? There's a reason that you feel a certain way, and that feeling wants to be heard, and you want to be heard. So start being okay with being heard. Start being okay with setting boundaries if you need to protect yourself, because there's no point in sacrificing ourselves anymore. That's an old perspective, an old way of looking at things, that we need to sacrifice ourselves for other people. It's time we evolve one more step and start protecting ourselves equally as we protect other people, because a lot of times protecting yourselves means going against other people, right? Jesus to tell somebody no. But we don't do that just because. We don't do that for no reason. We do that because we are hurting, and something that has been done is hurting us. And so we are going to protect ourselves and say, no, I don't deserve to be hurt. Things are changing. Wheel of Fortune. I just took a look at these two cards. And beautiful cards. The Wheel of Fortune. This looks like a hand. That's cool. That looks like a zoomed in picture of this, of whatever the knight is holding. That's even the same color as his hand. That's pretty cool. All right. Yeah, this change is being handed to you as a gift from life. And it's something you deserve because it's something you've been going through. You've ranked up all the experience points. It's time to cash them in. And it's going to be that inner confidence. You deserve it. You deserve to set boundaries for yourself as well. You already did the sacrificing stuff. You already understood that. Now let's understand including ourselves when we include other people. Because if you give yourself away, then there's not going to be anything left of you. And we don't want that. That's not good. You are part of all of this as well. So no sacrificing yourself anymore. It's time to speak our truth. It's time to tell people what we want directly. Just like Pam when she said, don't call me Pammy. She don't like that. Receptivity. Cool. It sounds like you're listening. Sounds like there's something you would like to receive. I would like to receive this as well. Something cool about, giving a gift and receiving a gift. Right? When we receive it with open hands. Our palms are up. That way we can receive the gift. And when we give a gift, we kind of give it with the palms down. So you're going to see that symbolism a lot in everything. Whenever palms are up, whenever palms are down. And both of these are up. This one's reaching up. These are also reaching up. That's cool. Oh, and there is one pair of hands that is palm up. There is one pair of hands with palm down. There can't be a receiver if there is no giver. There can't be no giver if there is no one receiving. It's okay to be on both sides, right? You don't have to set a rule and be like, only being on one side is good. No, being on one side is boring, is not good. It's not inclusive. You're not including the other side of the coin. Right? So if you give all the time, learn how to receive a little bit. If you receive all the time, learn how to give a little bit. And that is that yin and yang, right? There's a little bit, at least in both sides. There's a little bit in both sides. But there's never just white. There's never just black. There's always both. Totality. She can't go on and grab a hold of her hands if she's not reaching and holding her hands. Totality, both, right? Okay, so this is red. So this is reminding me of the hand that is receiving here. Receptivity. Receive. It's your turn to receive. I think I want to read receptivity. I haven't read anything out of the book in a little bit. This is one of the court cards of the cups, which is of the emotions. This is the Queen of Cups. This is nurturing your emotions. All of your emotions. Anxiety is there for a reason. Depression is there for a reason. Just as happiness is there for a reason. And, excitement is there for a reason. Love and joy are there for a reason. Just as much as hate are there for a reason. There is The dove and the serpent. There is love and there is love. One's protecting, one is including, or yeah, but both of them are about love. Receptivity represents the feminine, receptive quality of water and of the emotions. Her arms are extended upwards to receive. She is completely immersed in the water. She has no head, no busy and aggressive mind to hinder her pure receptivity, and as she is filled, she is continuously emptying herself, overflowing and receiving more. She's doing both. The lotus pattern or matrix that emerges from her represents the perfect harmony of the universe that becomes apparent when we are in tune with it. Interesting. Energy has to come from somewhere, right? They can't get energy from nothing. So that's all that's meaning. It's talking about that the relationship between receiving and giving. It has to be coming from somewhere, right? For you to receive something, it has to be given from somewhere. Same with energy. The Queen of Water brings a time of unboundedness and gratitude for whatever life brings, without any expectations or demands. Neither duty or thought of merit or reward are important. Neither of those things. No duty or thought of merit or reward. They are not important. Sensitivity, intuition, and compassion are the qualities that shine forth now, dissolving all the obstacles that keep us separate from each other and from the whole. No more keeping things separate. It's time to be totality. Change. Cool, we just said change. Now it's happening outside and in the inside, right? Because the Wheel of Fortune, that's a major arcana. Ooh, and wealth. Ooh, look at that. That one turned into $1 billion. The Wheel of Fortune, the major arcana cards are things that happen to us. This is life making its move, life playing the game. It is us and life playing the game. Totality. Things we do, things that happen to us. And the Wheel of Fortune is a major arcana, so that is the life making its move. Minor arcana, which are all of these, and this one. Well, the minor arcana are things that we are in control over. There are all circles because us humans don't tend to do things perfectly, right away for the first time. We tend to mess up. We tend to get it and then still mess up. So we do things over and over and over and over to get better at them, right? And that's what the minor arcana are things that we are in control over, things that take time because we make mistakes and we need time. We need to do things over and over again to figure them out. So this is change of life making a change, and then this is you making an inner change as well. You're responding to each other because you're not separate, you're total, you're one, right? Can't have one without the other. And there's a lot of coins. You can't have a heads without tails, right? You can't have one side of the coin without the other side. There are two sides that make the whole coin. And look at that. This is cool. This gift that life is receiving. Look, it was just 1 at the beginning, and now it changed into 10. That's so cool. A lot of growth. The same thing with this. This is the tree of life. This is all about the 1 turning into the 10. And we have the whole tree of life here in 1 reading. So this is a special time. This is a very special time. And enjoy, right? Sit back, relax, and enjoy this show. Enjoy the ride. Enjoy this change, this wealth that's coming towards you. It's been a long time coming. Yeah, alright. I'm gonna grab a card or two from the Office Oracle deck. And we are going to go with this one. And we're starting here. Nice, there's no road here, yeah. I'm not supposed to go left or right all the time. Right? That's not a road. There's many roads here. There are no roads here. I can do things however, whatever suits the moment. This time I went from right to left. There's no road. We are right making the moves in the moment. Life is making the moves in the moment. There is no one right way to live life. There is many. There are many shows. There is no one right show, that people are supposed to be watching. No, there's a bunch of different kinds of shows for all different kinds of people. Enjoy them all. The totality. Let's not just fixate ourselves in one certain way of doing things, in one certain way of being, because that's when we're going to start feeling that anxiety and depression, because we're not supposed to be living that way. We're supposed to be living our own way. We're supposed to be living the life that you want, that you dream, that inner Pammy wants. Cool. Meditate. This is all about that receptive energy, because meditating is not just about being silent, right, and sitting there and going it's about more than that. It's about it's about getting yourself into a state. Like the whole point is to quiet down the mind. The whole point is not to be the mind, right? If I'm cutting up food with a knife, the whole point is not to, it's good to be the knife, right? But I'm not the knife. I'm the one behind the knife. So same with the mind. We start being the mind. We start being our thoughts, but we're not. We are the ones behind that are using the mind. That is all meditation wants, is it gets you silent enough to get out of being the mind, being the body, being these emotions, instead of them being information that we can listen to, that we can receive, and then keep being. So meditate, however, makes you silent. Another word of being silent, of being meditative in this state, is to lock in. Whenever you hear people say, all right, it's time to lock in, all they're saying is, all right, let's get into a meditative state so we can do better, because you can do better when you don't think and you just do, right? So that is locking in and meditating. This is my lock-in card. So it's time to lock in, because there's no road here. You're in control. You're the one making the road. So let's lock in and have a good time. Cool. I think that's it. I think that's it for this reading. Once again, enjoy. Don't forget to enjoy these things that are coming up. Be confident, and let's see who you are. I'm excited to see who you are. Well, thank you for being here. I hope this reading helped. I hope it helped. If it did, please help me with a like. By liking this video, write a comment on anything that was said, on anything that you would like to talk about, and subscribing if you want to keep hanging out. We try to have fun here. We try to learn here, and this is a place for a good time. All right. Well, I hope to see you in the next one. Bye. Hello! If you picked the Great Bugs Bunny, welcome to your reading. Take a seat, relax, and enjoy the show. Have a good time. And have a great time, because love is here. Love is here. This is one of my favorite cards in my deck, the Office Oracle deck. This is love. Here's when Michael proposed to Holly. So there is a proposal in the air, and it could be not just a love proposal, but it could be like a job proposal, a friend proposal, an opportunity, a proposal, something that you enjoy, something that you love is in the air. And love is beautiful, because this was a very beautiful scene. This is a very beautiful couple. Dunder Mifflin turned out to be a very beautiful family, and everything about the scene was very beautiful, and that's how your life is gonna be. This is what we're all aiming for, is to have a beautiful, lovely life. And I'm telling you, this is This is your time to shine. This is your time. Look at all that fire. Look at all those candles. Look at all that light. All good things. If you pay attention, if you enjoy them, if you appreciate them, and if you return them to life, life is going to keep returning it back. All the pain, all the tears, all of the struggle, all the darkness is worth it when you find love, when you find this light. So let's sit back and relax, because love is here. Okay. This is the Knight of Swords dying. Death is a transition. Death is a change. So maybe it's this way of thinking. The Knight of Swords is very in the mind, very thoughts after thoughts after thoughts. He's a go-getter. He's a knight. He's the one that slays the dragon to save the princess. And it's of the swords. So this is of the mind. This is the mind racing. Look how fast it's going. The clouds are in a blurry, weird shape. They're not clouds at all because he's going so fast. His mind is going so fast. And when you go that fast, love is very easy to miss. So we are turning our backs from this way of thinking, from this way of using our minds. And you see he's stopping in this one, and he's slowed down. He's chill now in this one, the horse. So we're slowing down. We are taking it easier, because why would you want to miss love? Why would you want it to be over with? Like in school, we're just counting down the minutes until it's over. In church, you're counting down the minutes until it's over. Why would we count down the minutes until it's over for love? We would want to stop it. We would want to pause it. We would want to exist outside of time so that we can enjoy it forever. So it is our time to slow down. You are here. You made it. There's no need to rush anymore. Totality. You are total, yes. Stress, no more. Yes, stress, that's the Knight of Swords is about. But we are going to be more total now. We are not rushing anywhere. We aren't carrying a lot of errands to do, a lot of jobs to do. We are being total. There's 3 here. Have 3 mechs that you can juggle. Not 7. Because then you can give it your most total attention. It's hard to give 7 things your attention. A lot of fire. Fire is of the will. Fire is movement. Fire is action, action, action. There's a lot of fire here. There's a lot of fire here. And this was in the mind. Obviously, it's going to affect each other, right? When you add air to fire, the fire is going to spread more quickly. So what do you want to spread more quickly? All of this stress or some love? Because if you have the power to spread stress around that quickly, right? You have equally as much power to spread love around that quickly. It just takes practice. You think they were able to do all of their tricks the first time? No, they practice so that they could get it every time. Same with this guy even. With all the stress, you think stress is easy? No, it takes practice. It takes a lot of practice to be good at stress, to be able to produce stress. So which one do you want to practice on? Some more stress or some love in your life? Well, I want to slow down. I don't want to rush. We're going to die at some point, so might as well enjoy our time here, huh? Isn't that interesting on people that, if there's creatures that don't die or don't know what death is, do you think they have that same Let's enjoy our time. You think they can appreciate their time just as much as us humans that do know that we will die? That death is around the corner, you know? So we learn to appreciate the moment. You know, at least some of us do. I don't even know if I have yet. But I'm sure I've noticed that when people get older, when people get closer to death, they become more accepted, they can become more total, they become a lot less stressed out, right? I wonder if a creature that doesn't die, that doesn't know that they're gonna die, that they don't know what death is, or don't ever go near death, right? I wonder what kind of mentality they have, how it shifts their stress, because I'm sure they probably still have stress, right? Or do you think they not have stress because they know they're never gonna die? Because that's one thing that stresses us out the most, right? I mean, everything we do is because it's for survival reasons. So I wonder if a creature that doesn't die, if they even have stress, because they don't have that survival mentality. The Fool and Two of Swords, peace. So that's cool. I love how this ends. We started with the Knight of Swords, started with the rushing thoughts, with thinking, anxiety. And we end in peace. The Two of Swords have made peace. The thoughts, the mind has made peace. They are at a time of peace. And since we slow time down, right, to be in more love, when we find peace, we slow time again so that we can stay in that peace, because when we keep going, it's going to eventually turn into a night again. It's going to eventually turn into this war again. So let's slow down. Cool. This is totality again. It's reminding me, you know, the circle. Circle is only a circle until it goes back to the starting point. And that's the Fool, the starting point. So imagine how different, right, the actual starting point is, and then all of this adventure that it went through, and then just to go back to the same starting point. They're in the same starting point, but there's two different people here, right? There's the one that began, and then the one that had this long adventure, but returns to being the Fool again. I just noticed that there's a bunch of candles here. And there's a bunch of candles there, so that's cool. Yeah, this guy needs some peace. This Knight of Swords needs some peace. And see, that's why death is good, because we would be Knight of Swords forever. But since we know death, we have death, we can change, we can transition into peace, that war version of us can end, can die, so that a peaceful version of us can exist as well. A loving, peaceful time is here. We just gotta let this stress aside, let it end. Let it end, so there can be a new beginning full of wonder and full of love. That's why the pain and tears are worth it, because it makes us realize what love really is. You know, we can compare it to pain, we can compare it to hate, we can compare being this stress with peace. And now we know when peace comes, when it's here, so that we know to appreciate it, to be in the moment, to not rush peace, to not rush it when we are in that time. Cool. Okay. All these readings have been very short and sweet, very straight to the point. No dilly-dallying. Everything has just been I don't know. I hope you all enjoyed. At least there's beautiful. Oh my god! Especially these two cards together. This is life. This is what you want. This is what kind of life I would want. Full of love and and things that I want. Look at this is everything that you want in life, you get. And you don't need to work for it. You know, you deserve it because you are alive. You already did the hard part. You know, being alive, being a human is the hard part. And you are here. You already made it. And just for making it here, just for being alive, you deserve everything that you truly desire. You deserve all of this love. You deserve all of this joy, all of this peace, all this fire. You deserve to feel total. You deserve it all. We all do. But the hard part is realizing that. Hug it out, bitch. Yes, especially when it deals with yourself. This is especially right now because of yourself, you know. Don't beat yourself up for being in that stressful state. You put yourself in that stressful state so you can learn what love is, right? So you can learn what a peaceful state was. So stop beating yourself up if you were stuck in there or even if it happened, you know, hug it out with yourself. Be easier on yourself. No more rushing. You know, this is how we get a little more quiet. Is by forgiving ourselves in the first place. And because this is just us fighting, you know, ourselves for just because we're riding the tornado, you know, the tornado of thoughts and the tornado of making ourselves feel bad. But when you hug it out with yourself, when you start loving yourself, when you start paying attention a little more, when you start being peaceful with yourself a little more nicer to yourself, use nicer words, then there starts being a pause in between all of this stress, all of this thoughts, all of these candles that keep appearing. They don't stick. They are just heard. They are just passing by, and we can be more chillful. Be more chillful. That's if anything sticks, make it be that. Be more chillful. Cool, back to the beginning with all of your experience. Back to the one. Alright, thank you so much for being here. I very much appreciate you for being here, and I hope this reading helps. If anything, be more chillful. Be full of chill. And yeah, thank you for being here. I hope this helps. If it did help, please help me as well by liking the video, by writing a comment on anything that was said, on anything that didn't make sense, if you have questions, and subscribe if you want to keep hanging out. I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.